So over the last couple of weeks, I've had a lot of my clients come in burned out, over softball, just not wanting to practice, not motivated. So we thought it'd be a good time to do a video on how to deal with burnout during season. You love the sport, you know you love the sport, but then all of a sudden, if you hate the sport and you don't want anything to do with it, that's burnout.
Burnout can look different for everybody. Usually, there's that common theme of like, I really don't want to do this, or it's really hard to go to the field or go to practice or anything like that. But it can show up differently for everybody. I think for me personally, it was more so, in college, feeling that burnout was kind of, if I was taking a nap before practice or after class and I was just like, I don't even want to get off the couch right now. Like that, no part of me wants to go to the field.
So like burnout for me, and I specifically remember walking up to the field with Coach Spencer, and we would just be looking at each other and be like, do you love softball? I love softball. I love softball. You love softball? Okay, I love softball. And that would be and that was like our tone. That was how we just felt, and we would get in there and like we were never motivated to work, but once we got there, it was time to work. We just had the discipline to push and get ourselves better each day. But there was zero motivation whatsoever.
Yeah. Okay, I guess then that's the same thing, because it was like I was so not motivated and felt very lazy and just like I just need to sleep. I just need to rest for like a week without having to like move a muscle. And then once you get to the field and once you're out there, like the competitiveness, like that drive just kicks in. So you do it, you compete, but then it's like actively like work. Getting there. Ugh, it was a drag.
Yeah, it's literally a job. Yeah. And it's work when you're burned out.
Yeah.
Versus normally, like it's always work, right? But normally it's something that you love to do and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm ready to work. But it's not the case when you have burnout.
Yeah.
But everybody's going to be different. But the overall theme is just like that lack of motivation and just like the dread of having to go practice or having to go throw or swing a bat. You're just like, there's no motivation for it.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about how to manage that burnout throughout a season.
Number one thing is there's a lack of motivation. It comes down to discipline. Like you set a schedule, you have a routine, you stick to it. You make yourself go no matter how much you don't want to, no matter how many ways you try to talk yourself out of it. That is your schedule. Stick to it.
And then also be very intentful with your work or with your practice also, because even if you don't want to go, but you make yourself go, the work that you put in, if you're just, taking reps off or just doing it like for quantity over quality, now you run the risk of creating bad habits. So when you go, you don't have to be practicing for hours and hours, but when you're making that decision to stay disciplined and go, you need to make sure that like you find a way to lock in when you're there.
Yep. And it's okay to like cut back a little bit on how much time you spend, right? So if you normally pitch for 45 minutes at a regular bullpen, maybe you drop it down to 30, but you're very focused on what you're going to do. So you are spending that 30 minutes more wisely than you would maybe normally spend your 45 minutes. So you're gaining some time, but also putting in that extra effort to get better, knowing that you're going to put less time into it. Make sure
you're negotiating with yourself.
Basically.
Yeah.
And the reason I say it's okay to put a little bit less time into it is because when you have burnout, make time for things that you enjoy, right? So if you enjoy, like, I love going for walks and hikes with my dogs. So when I'm like burned out and overworked, I'm going to make time to go do that a few times during a week because I look forward to it. And so it gets me to my happy place and gets me kind of away from the drag of just having to do the same thing over and over again.
And again, that's also very different person to person, what you like to do, what kind of fills up your cup, right? Is very different. And I also think it can be very different depending in like what season or what time of year it is or whatever. Like when I was in college, my ideal, if I'm burnt out, and what I like to do to like make myself feel better was like bed rotting or couch rotting, watching TV, something where I don't have to put a lot of mental or physical effort into. Other times it was like getting dressed up, getting not super nice, but like looking presentable and going out and shopping or just like window shopping, walking around, right? So again, even from like for one person, those can look very different depending on the day. Like from I'm not moving all day versus like, okay, I'm going to get cute. I'm going to like make myself feel good, look good, whatever, go out, get out of the house, just finding what works for you.
Yeah, trying to find a little bit more balance in life,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because like in the middle of the season, you have a schedule that's set for you. And so, things get a little bit out of balance during season, and that's normal and it's okay. So you just try to find a way to shift so things are a little bit more balanced and you have your outlets that make you happy.
So even if you have a busy schedule and maybe you don't have a full day to do whatever it is that you want to do, finding joy in the little things, I think, is something that helped me a lot in college, whether that was just taking, 5 minutes to watch the sunset where I'm not doing anything, I'm just being present, or taking an extra long shower with, my music on and a candle and everything smells good, like setting a nice environment that I like and just appreciating that, like, oh, this is so nice, helps you kind of reset and just kind of like simmer down a little bit before, you kind of have to go back to the craziness. But like when you're boiling water or whatever, and it's like bubbling up, and then you just like do a little thing, kind of brings it back down. And now you're not boiling over. That's kind of what I was.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Okay. So it's kind of like that. We're just, even the little things, just really appreciating those little moments and things that you're like, oh, I love this. This is so nice, right? Because again, you're not always going to have those full days to do absolutely nothing or do whatever it is you want to do, especially when you're in the middle of a season. Yeah. One more thing to add too is even when you're taking, whether it's like an all day break or a little, that 5 minute, just something, make sure that you're present for that moment and not dreading the next time that you have to go. Because there's been days where I'm like, oh, this off day is so nice, but I have to go to practice tomorrow. I have to do all this tomorrow. Don't even try not to think that way and just enjoy the freaking moment, because then you're just worrying about everything else. Just try to be so present that you're just like, nothing even matters, like in a good way. Like, okay, like I'm enjoying my life. This is great, right? Not worrying about what tomorrow is going to bring or what 10 minutes from now is going to bring, right? Just try to stay present, which is also really good, just like in general, like for life. And in sports, but I loved off days, but I used to dread it because then the next day it wasn't going to be an off day.
Yeah. And then you don't even get to enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the other thing you can do too, especially at team practice, is surround yourself with the teammates who lift you up, right? Mm-hmm. The ones that you enjoy spending time with, the ones that you want to make sure you can still focus, but the ones that make you laugh and the ones that just make you happy just being next to them, surround yourself with them, right? Because when you're surrounded by great people, you're going to be in a much better place, and that's going to make you more motivated. You're going to like what you do a little bit more, even if it is only in the moment and you go back to not wanting to do it afterwards. That's okay, right? Find ways to enjoy what you're doing in the moment.
Yeah. And also know too, kind of with the practice or at practice, you can tell your coaches and your teammates, whatever, that you're feeling burnt out. Like, you don't have to hide that. You don't have to be ashamed of it. You don't have to just like ignore it and grind even harder, right? Like then you're going to be like down in the dumps, like that. There's no point in doing that.
You got to know your coach, because some coaches are idiots and will be like, why don't you like this? And blah, 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 blah.
Oh,
because they don't know what they're doing. They never played.
Let me rephrase. So, if you have a good coach,
yes,
if your team, fosters a good environment for communication and
mental health,
all the, things that are important for a head coach to have and to create, then you can communicate that. And if you don't have a coach that's like that, have, again, teammates or family, friends outside of softball, just somebody that you can talk to and just say like, man, I do not have any motivation to do any of it, just so that somebody knows and you don't feel like it's just me. Because every single athlete in the history of athletes has gone through and experienced burnout way more than once. Like, it's not just a one-time thing. Oh, it's never gonna happen again. No, you're gonna feel it every freaking year. At some point, you're gonna feel it every season. So knowing, who's in that like inner circle that you can, confide in and just say like, I'm here, I'm showing up, I'm giving what I got today, but I'm feeling burnt out. That's okay. There's no shame in that. And if you're a coach that shames their players for feeling burnt out, then you should consider a different job.
Shame on you.
Yeah. Shame on you. You should consider a different job, because
it's normal and you got to take care of your players.
Yeah.
I don't care how old or young they are. They need to be taken care of. People need to be taken care of.
And again, like, not running yourself into the ground. It's just going to be harder to get out of that. Obviously, it is difficult in season when it's like, okay, you kind of have to keep going. The ball's going to keep rolling. But that's why we stress taking those times and those moments for yourself to do something that you actually enjoy doing. That kind of, again, brings that boiling water down a little bit, back to normal. We're not saying dump the water out. We're just saying get back to normal.
Turn the heat down a little bit.
Yeah. Get it down to like a simmer.
Yeah. Burnout is going to happen every season. Even if you're on top of taking breaks when you have a chance in the off season, you're still going to get burned out. It's a long season. It's, just constant go, 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 go. So these are some tips to help you manage it and hopefully get out of it sooner. It is temporary. You will get out of it. You do need to know how to manage and have some strategies to help you manage it when you're going through it.
Good stuff. Bye.